Just so far only Sister Carping has shared, is it?
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Okay. So right. Okay, the Sutra Treasury contains all of the teachings of the Tathagata. Okay, so basically referring, Master introduced this line, all the teaching to Tripitaka. So we will come to that. We must listen to, faithfully accept, and focus on diligent cultivating the Dharma. So therefore, from the Sutra Treasury, accept and diligently cultivating. So you understand this line. If we cannot put an end to our bonds and afflictions in this lifetime, later with gradual nourishment, the Tathagata's virtual wisdom will appear. Now, this line here is because to end our bonds and affliction. What is this bonds referring to? The bonds that bond to samsara. And that's because of our attachment, we are not letting go. And because we feel affliction. So this affliction weighs us down in samsara. And later, with gradual nourishment, and this is talking about cultivation beyond this lifetime. We cannot complete this lifetime, so as we gradually grow that Gata's virtue and wisdom, which is the Buddha's mind, and will eventually appear. And that's the aspiration and the vow that we should be holding. So the Buddha gave the Tripitaka, or the three baskets. And through the three baskets of those who are familiar with this, especially those who previously from the Theravada practice, or even all the other practices, one will know about the Tripitaka. So the three parts to that. I'm not sure Sister Carping explained this, then I won't run through this. Carping, have you explained this?
No, not the Tripitaka.
So I can't hear you. Okay, so basically it's a sutra. The rules actually refer to Vinaya rules and the treatises, which is Abhidhamma. So the Abhidhamma is, if you like, very broadly, Master often refer to as the principles. Okay, but within the Tripitaka, there are 12 divisions, and seriously, I'm not comfortable in explaining all this. It's very detailed, but I'm sure Master will perhaps maybe explain that in the latest session. So we'll come to that. So we should continue to be diligent and mindful, and continue to cultivate the views of our minds. And this one you know about it. And the Buddha disciples, when he's expounding the Lotus Sutra, the fourfold assembly, which both the monks and the nuns, of course, the bhikshus and or rather bhikkhus and the bhikkhunis, the male and the female lay practitioner, upasaka, upasikas. So after understanding the Dharma, we can eliminate the afflictions of our mind and pass on the Dharma to other people. So this is how we give rise to the pure faith. So lessons learned is we diligently practice. We also need love and respect for others. This way, we can be each other's virtuous friends and beneficial companions. This has been mentioned a few times. And more importantly, is in the process, we learn from one another. And obviously, some have greater capabilities than others. So more importantly, those who, I think there are two parts when you learn to learn from one another. One is you are willing to learn from one who is more advanced than you. That's first thing. Because some people are also hindered by not wanting to learn from others, but learning from themselves. And that's purely, Master explains, arrogance. The other part is those who are more advanced must be willing to share and spend time. And this is part of actually serving in the path. One who doesn't give the effort to do so won't be able to share that. So developing faith understanding takes focus and intelligence. And obviously, if one is not focused and one can be easily distracted, then it will be very difficult. So of course, spiritual cultivation cannot be completed in one lifetime, which is referring to the initial verse, right? Because Master say it's gradual. So we spend many lifetimes on this. Only then we are truly spiritual practitioners. Do not be afraid of how far we have to go. only by being unwilling to take, only if being unwilling to take the first step, then it will be difficult to even progress in the practice. So obviously it takes lifetime, but the Vajrayana practice, they still hold a belief that it is possible to attain enlightenment in one lifetime. There's a major difference between the Vajrayana practice and the Mahayana practice. So in contemplation, a little bit long today, the journey of learning is inconceivable. It's conceivable, number one, is because we don't know what we're going to learn. So long as we hold on to faith, there will be new discovery. And new discoveries unfold, there will be uncovery. If this uncovery further unveil itself, you realize there will be rediscovery. And rediscovery is all from your past life practices, which requires diligent efforts to progress. And so therefore we need to put in those efforts, otherwise it will be very difficult. It is inconceivable for the worldly mind to understand and appreciate, because we only understand what satisfies our five senses. But we can see, we can feel, we can touch, we can hear, right? We can taste. So therefore, when you and the truth has nothing to do with any of these five senses. That's why people find it will be inconceivable. Then how can paradox be understood well? Heart Sutra, form is emptiness, emptiness is form. How can one be understood? In fact, if one can understand the Heart Sutra well, you already attain, you can be an enlightened being. So a seeker must unlearn the ways of the world and then progress to relearn. What does not make sense in the worldly ways makes sense in the spiritual practice. So in the worldly ways, we want to grab on to wealth. In the spiritual practice, we want to give away our wealth. So, and this is the paradox. And this doesn't make sense in the worldly ways. So in the worldly ways, one takes. In the spiritual practice, one gives. So spiritual development is gradual, and attainments cannot be prayed for or yearned for. So therefore, the mind must slowly develop, and you must spend every effort to progress in your cultivation of the mind. So on relationship, this is about corrective relationship. Actually, the world is one giant correction institution, if you think about it. Most people do not know this. You are sent to this world to correct yourself, and that is the purpose of your life. And this is certainly for myself. I'm just sharing from my side that the purpose of my life is to correct myself. So to do so, you need to engage in a meaningful practice so that you can diligently correct yourself. So get a good coach to guide you. Okay, Gan En, brothers and sisters, thank you.
Gan En so much, Brother Chin. You are sent here to correct all of us, Brother Chin. So glad to have you.
I'm here for you all to correct me.
Yeah, you're here to correct all of us, or we can correct each other as long as we go along. Yeah. Okay, Gan En so much,